Hey, movie enthusiasts! Today, I want to take you back to a classic masterpiece from over a decade ago. This film is not your average movie. It had a staggering budget of $250 million, and the visual effects are nothing short of explosive. It's adapted from the classic novel A Princess of Mars, which was published as early as 1912, making it a pioneer in the sci-fi and time travel genre. Plus, the film's incredible twist at the end will absolutely leave you in awe. The story begins with a boy who unexpectedly inherits a massive fortune from his uncle. Strangely, the uncle has positioned himself in a tomb that can only be opened from the inside. Among the inheritance is a special diary that records the legendary experiences of the uncle during his lifetime. Years ago, the boy's uncle, Carter, stumbled upon a peculiar cave. Inside, he found a strange nest with 9 rays, and the cave walls were embedded with gold enough wealth to make him a super rich man. Just as Carter was filled with excitement, a bald man suddenly appeared behind him. The bald man was shocked to see Carter and immediately lunged at him with a dagger. Quick on his feet, Carter managed to counterattack at the right moment. The bald man clutched a glowing token and kept muttering, "Open sesame, open sesame." Out of curiosity, Carter repeated it, and something magical happened. He was transported through a blue light to a mysterious place. In this place, the gravity was vastly different from that of Earth. A light step could send him bouncing over a meter high, and a little effort could propel him several meters away. After several attempts, Carter gradually adapted to the gravity, leading to scenes that felt like dreams. Here, he could leap over mountains like Superman. However, while he reveled in this incredible jumping ability, he forgot about the mysterious token that had brought him here. Carter jumped onto a mountain and discovered a strange glass building filled with odd eggs. Suddenly, the eggs cracked open, hatching green-skinned creatures never seen before. Just as he was observing these green babies, a group of unknown creatures rushed toward him. As he attempted to flee, a green creature startled him by attacking from the side. Seeing Carter's unique abilities, this green creature appeared anxious. Just then, a troop arrived and began firing wildly, but the green leader quickly intervened, disarming himself to communicate with Carter. However, due to a language barrier, they couldn't understand each other. The green leader could only express himself through gestures. It turned out he wanted to see Carter's incredible jumping ability again. Realizing this, Carter took the opportunity to jump to where the green leader had placed his weapons, but he didn't know how to use them. Before he could attack, the green sniper from afar shot him. Thus, Carter was captured and taken to the kingdom of the green creatures. Soon, a large number of green monsters surrounded him. They intended to snatch the newly hatched younglings, following a tribal rule that whoever captures them gets to keep them. One weak green female monster hadn't caught any, so the leader assigned Carter to her. Carter was treated like a youngling, first having his beard shaved, then taking a bath in a special liquid, followed by being dusted with disinfectant, and finally being fed milk. This milk was extraordinary. After drinking it, Carter learned the green creature's language instantly. That night, while no one was watching, Carter planned to escape. A peculiar creature with a big head and ears approached him. It didn't attack directly but yawned. Seizing the opportunity, Carter untied his wristband and quietly left while the creature slept. He jumped over 8 meters high, but unexpectedly, the creature that had just been sleeping appeared right in front of him. Clearly, this creature was extraordinary. Carter jumped again, but no matter how high or far he jumped, the creature easily followed him. He could only leap onto a high platform, and the creature immediately followed, which angered the dancing green monsters. Seeing the creature getting beaten, Carter couldn't bear it and jumped down to rescue it, only to accidentally kill a green monster with one punch. Indeed, he was like Superman here. However, he was soon overwhelmed by the numbers, and even the female green monster guarding him faced punishment. At that moment, several super battleships suddenly appeared in the sky. The green monsters rushed for cover, and the leader explained that the flying ships represented two superpowers. One of these powers was called Zodan City, which possessed a mobile mechanical castle and loved to conquer, plundering surrounding resources. The only force that could contend with them was another power called Shire City, which also had extremely advanced technology. The two had been fighting for a long time, originally evenly matched. However, recently, this balance was completely disrupted. A few bald men claiming to be messengers of the gods approached the king of Zodan, saying that the gods had chosen him and gifted him a super artifact that surpassed earthly powers. Since then, Shire City had been steadily losing. They had no means to resist against divine power. Unexpectedly, the King of Zoden took a liking to the Princess of Shire City, forcing the King of Shire to seek protection through marriage. The princess refused to comply, so she had to secretly escape in a battleship. The situation in the sky now was that the King of Zoden was pursuing the Princess of Shire City. Just as the princess was about to fall, Carter, who had been watching from a distance, noticed that she seemed to be human like him, and he rushed to save her. Using his jumping ability, he quickly leapt to rescue the princess. However, he soon faced the army of Zoden, as a large number of soldiers approached. Carter leapt high onto an ice platform, leaving the princess in awe. He jumped into the cannon of a ship, firing wildly. The King of Zoden attempted to kill him with the artifact, but a nearby divine messenger stopped him, insisting that Carter must be captured alive. So, the King of Zoden challenged Carter to a duel, but against the battle-hardened king, Carter quickly fell. Just then, the green monsters below launched an attack, forcing the King of Zoden to retreat temporarily, allowing Carter to leap off the ship and escape successfully. When faced with the full-scale attack from the green monsters, Zoden City, already suffering heavy casualties, had no choice but to retreat. Carter's recent heroic act made the battle-hungry green monsters regard him as their victorious leader, and they personally awarded him the highest honor. That night, after some communication with the princess, Carter finally understood where he was. According to the princess, they were on Mars in the solar system, which shocked Carter. What kind of power could transport him from Earth to Mars in an instant? This also explained why he could jump several meters high here. The princess then took Carter to a place where murals depicted ancient legends. It was said that beside the creator, there were a group of celestial beings, each possessing the ability to traverse different planets, and the key to this was the Stargate. The princess said that if he could help her defeat Zoden City, she would take him to find this Stargate and return to Earth. However, just as they reached an agreement, they were captured by the green monsters for trespassing into a forbidden area. Not only would they be punished, but the female green monster responsible for raising Carter would also be publicly executed. Upon hearing this, the leader became furious, seized Carter, and prepared to deal with them personally. But once inside the tent, he gestured for everyone to be quiet and then directly let Carter go. It turned out that the frail female green monster was the leader's biological daughter, named Sora. Their main rule was that there were no biological children. All were uniformly hatched, and strong ones were adopted. However, the leader operated in secrecy, knowing who his biological daughter was but unable to reveal it directly. Thus, he hoped Carter could take Sora and escape, handing him back the teleportation token. So, a human from Earth, two Martians, and a Martian dog set off on the quest to find the Stargate. Following the instructions in the murals, they learned that the end of a certain river led to the Creator's palace. As they progressed along the river, they saw a magnificent building. Carter picked up the princess and jumped onto the structure, and the teleportation token on his waist suddenly resonated, causing blue light to radiate from beneath his feet as the ground began to change structure, ultimately forming a passageway. As they approached, a large door glowing with a ghostly blue light appeared. This was not some divine technique but a form of highly advanced technology that humans could not yet comprehend. They placed the token on the ground, and a burst of blue light spread out, forming 9 rays, each corresponding to a planet, which then transformed into the starry sky of the solar system. The princess stepped on the ray representing Mars, and unexpectedly, several rays spread out from Mars, connecting to the other major planets. They instantly realized that the energy contained within these rays was what allowed Carter to traverse from Earth to Mars. The symbols appearing within the rays were the incantations needed for voice recognition to travel between planets. They also understood that the traversal between planets did not actually transport their physical bodies. Carter's current form was akin to a replicated body created by digitizing his consciousness data. At that moment, a commotion erupted from the guards. Upon investigation, they found a group of green monsters surrounding the area, with the mastermind being the bold divine messenger. Carter scooped up the princess and leapt back to the raft, deciding that retreat was the best option. Countless green monsters chased them along the river, eventually catching up to Carter as he returned to land. Realizing that no one would escape if this continued, Carter instructed Sora to take the princess and flee first. He intended to face the overwhelming forces alone, but unexpectedly, the Martian dog stood by him, vowing to fight alongside him. Using his powerful jumping ability and strength far exceeding that of Martian creatures, Carter fought valiantly among the green monsters. The Martian dog, relying on its incredible speed, also displayed remarkable combat prowess. Together, One man and one dog managed to hold off the enemy, but eventually, the overwhelming numbers wore Carter down, and he was on the verge of defeat. Just then, a warship appeared in the sky. It was the ship of Shire's god. An endless barrage of cannon fire sent the green monsters into disarray, and before long, they were all driven back. It turned out that the king of Shire had come to rescue the princess after receiving news of the situation. Carter still had a breath left, but unexpectedly, the king of Shire had reached an agreement with the king of Zoden and was there to escort him back to marry the king of Zoden. Under pressure, the princess had no choice but to return to Shire City. When Carter woke from his unconsciousness, the princess told him that she was about to marry the king of Zoden and handed him the teleportation token along with the incantation. The princess hoped he would stay to help her fight against the king of Zoden, but Carter silently began to recite the incantation. At that moment, the king of Zoden suddenly burst in, and when the princess turned back, Carter had vanished, leaving her heartbroken. However, she did not know that Carter had not left. He had resolved to rescue the princess, but then, an unexpected turn of events occurred. A blue beam shot toward Carter's body, instantly binding him with blue energy, rendering him immobile. The woman's appearance changed. The bold divine messenger could freely alter his appearance. Since these messengers could skillfully manipulate the energy within the blue rays, they could traverse the solar system at will and change the appearance of their replicas. During the conversation, the messenger revealed that he knew Carter had traversed from New York province in China on Earth. He then disclosed the true purpose of the divine messengers. They controlled the ninth ray to achieve immortality. However, over the long years, they had no idea how to spend eternity, so they took writing history as a hobby, controlling the historical development of planets. Mars was one of their playgrounds. According to their plan, the marriage between the king of Zoden and the princess would allow them to rule the entire planet, and then they could control the king of Zoden as a puppet, making it easier to manipulate this game. Just as Carter was about to be taken away, the Martian dog tracked him down by scent and, with incredible speed, knocked down the divine messenger and destroyed the controller in his hand, allowing Carter to escape and retrieve the teleportation token. He hid in a flying vehicle and returned to the Green Monster tribe, hoping to persuade the leader to overturn the divine messenger's conspiracy. However, he found that the leader had changed. The previous chieftain had been betrayed for letting them go. Before long, both of them were thrown into the arena, where those who entered were basically sentenced to death, as they were to face the fiercely dangerous blind white apes of Mars, known for their immense strength and bloodthirsty nature. The old chieftain had already been knocked to the ground, barely alive. In desperation, Carter had no choice but to make noise to attract the attention of the white apes. Facing the frenzied attacks of the white apes, Carter could only use his jumping ability to evade them. Since the white apes were blind, they quickly became entangled in the iron chains on Carter's body. As the white ape struggled, the iron chain embedded in the stone lost its binding power in an instant. With his strength on Mars, Carter could easily swing large stones and strike the white ape on the head, knocking it down. The crowd erupted in cheers. This was an unprecedented feat. Seizing the momentum, Carter immediately challenged the new leader. For the battle-hungry green monsters, refusing a challenge was a sign of cowardice and worthy of leading them. The new leader had no choice but to accept the challenge, but after just one exchange, he was outmatched. Carter became the new leader without a doubt, rallying the entire tribe to attack Zoden City, and their army surged forward like a tidal wave. However, when they broke through the city walls, they found it empty. It turned out that the king of Zoden and the princess were holding a grand event in Shire City that night. The old chieftain was speechless. Carter had no choice but to head to Shire City first, while the remaining green monsters would follow later in their warships. When Carter arrived, the wedding was at its climax. Fortunately, everything was timely, and Carter publicly exposed the conspiracy behind the divine messenger. Seeing this, the bold divine messenger immediately ordered the king of Zoden to go to war, and a fierce battle was about to break out. However, the divine messenger had planned to annex Shire City that night, and outside, there were already heavy ambushes set up. Fortunately, the Green Army also arrived in their warships just in time, and together they turned the tide, forcing the Zoden army into retreat. Meanwhile, the king of Zoden was completely suppressed by Carter. He initially wanted to extract more information about the divine messenger from him, but unexpectedly, he was silenced first. The cunning divine messenger also used the teleportation token to escape the scene. However, their plan was temporarily thwarted. Taking this opportunity, Carter directly proposed to the princess, and they officially became husband and wife in front of both tribes. Carter abandoned the thought of returning to Earth and threw away the token that could teleport him back. Just as he was preparing to return to the palace for their wedding night, the Divine Messenger made a surprise attack, disguising himself as a soldier to launch a sneak attack. Carter was instantly teleported back to Earth. When he woke up on Earth, he realized that an unknown amount of time had passed, and his body had become stiff. Looking at Mars, 250 million kilometers away, he did not intend to give up. He utilized the environment of the cave to frantically dig for relics around the world, hoping to find other teleportation tokens on Earth. After more than a decade, he finally found what he was looking for. He immediately set about teleporting back to Mars. According to previous claims, the teleportation would only transfer consciousness, meaning he would effectively be dead on Earth. Therefore, before teleporting, he made a will, leaving all his possessions to his nephew, and wrote down all the truths in this diary. The diary indicated that the Divine Messenger was secretly watching his every move on Earth. Once he teleported to Mars, the Divine Messenger would surely find a way to destroy his body, because if the physical body was destroyed, the consciousness of the teleported person would also perish. He hoped his nephew could protect his remains. Knowing the truth, the nephew hurried to Carter's tomb. He didn't know if his uncle's body was still intact. According to his uncle's hints in the diary, the tomb door hid a special mechanism, but when the wooden door opened, a dagger glowing blue appeared behind him. To his astonishment, the tomb was completely empty. Then a gunshot rang out. It turned out that Carter had never found the teleportation token. The series of actions were merely to draw out the hidden Divine Messenger. Because he surely had the teleportation token on him, the plan was perfectly executed. He entrusted the task of guarding the tomb to his nephew, and he could finally fulfill his wish.